Russia is nearing recession. These words from Economy Minister Maxim Reshnikov in late 2025 have exploded headlines across the world. Analysts everywhere have already declared a hard landing for the Russian economy. Predictions of this economic doom collapse and its global fallout have flooded every feed. But here is what most people miss. Russia isn't falling apart. It's repositioning strategically through BRICS, and that move may redefine the rules of economic resilience and development in the 21st century. Let's go beyond the fear and propaganda. We'll break down the data, the models we've tested, and the playbook Russia is using to survive this storm. So, Russia's economy is under strain. Russia's economy minister Maxim Reshnikov indicated the country is, quote, on the brink of recession as economic activity slows, citing factors like record high interest rates, falling oil prices, Western sanctions, and logistical challenges. Russia right now, its inflation is hovering around 10%. The central bank recently cut interest rates, but they're still at 20%. Defense spending has surged past 6.5% of GDP. The International Monetary Fund predicts GDP growth will stall around 1 to 2% this year for Russia. Now, most people would stop here and they see all of the headlines and they come to their conclusion that it's over. But we won't. We're going to test this for ourselves. I've created a model to represent Russia's economy, so we could test how its most essential sectors, agriculture, energy, finance, technology, and manufacturing, react to increased sanctions pressure, and how BRICS, how effective it is to help counter these shocks. And the results we found are truly going to surprise you. The results really show it's not collapse. It's more so turbulence, a stall, not a spiral. Because when we see economies that are governed with feedback loops, the picture really changes completely. Sanctions tighten everything, yes, but they don't break the system. They push it to evolve further. Similar to a snowball effect, the more sanctions are pushed, the more important it is for economies to diversify their supply chains away and integrate with more countries that accept their currency and their trade, which makes BRICS that much more essential for our multipolar world. And here's where the narrative flips. Rather than fight to re-enter the Western markets that continue to isolate themselves from world trade, Russia has pivoted to BRICS, and it has become the vehicle to opening opportunities amongst BRIC nations as well as those in the global south. Over 90% of Russia's bilateral trade with China is already in their respective national currencies, and they've also reached this historic benchmark with their neighbor Kazakhstan as well. Russia now finances new infrastructure through the New Development Bank, BRICS' own lending institution. And moreover, the New Development Bank has already begun financing this infrastructure development in other national currencies. So this is not merely theory. We can see that this is shrewd policy in action. This isn't just a trade shift. It's a currency and capital shift. And they will continue to de-dollarize while outmaneuvering Western sanctions, which will weaken the effect of sanctions even further. And while it's not a seamless transition, it's working a lot better than expected. So let's see what our models show. We're going to assume in our model that the United States and the European Union's illegal economic warfare is going to have a 20% stronger impact on Russia's economy than it did in the last year. But before we get to the results, be sure to hit that like button. If we can get over 5,000 likes on this video, I'll be sure to share this model with you all publicly so you can test it for yourselves. Now, based on the results, we could see that while the energy sector should expect a decline in future revenue, the manufacturing, technology, and finance sectors are actually going to benefit fairly soonly from these sanctions. What looks like fragility here is actually flexibility, and what appears as retreat is actually repositioning. The pain is real, but it's being absorbed and redirected back at Western powers. And that's how you turn sanctions into strategy. That's a soft landing. And that's what Reshnikov hinted at, but didn't say outright. Western analysts often shout Russia's decline from the rooftops. After all, they use the tried and true formula of isolating a country, levying it with sanctions, and it results in its collapse. But this is where BRICS can smash this simple formula to pieces. Russia aims to achieve a soft landing for its economy by leveraging different policy strategies at home, but also emphasizing the role of BRICS abroad. President Vladimir Putin has publicly expressed optimism given the recent headlines. Speaking at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, Putin claimed that Russia has successfully managed to contain inflation and reduce its dependence on energy exports, dismissing concerns about an energy crisis or an economic crisis. And the overarching strategy for both a soft landing and long-term repositioning involves shaping a new, quote, new global growth model. And while this sounds all well and good for Russia, and while it's that important to develop a new model of growth that other economies should look at and model themselves after, how are they really going to put this into practice? The first way is using economic diversification and innovation at home. Russia right now is focusing on developing human centric industries, implementing large scale initiatives in sectors like nuclear energy, aviation, robotics, and the push is aimed to improve the living environment and foster new growth areas that are beyond the traditional energy exports. The next idea is with collaborative global platforms. Russia is actively promoting an open dialogue initiative, which was held in Moscow and brought together representatives from over 100 countries. It was titled The Future of the World, a new platform for global growth. And this initiative aims to become a regular forum for discussing, developing, and implementing breakthrough ideas in areas like human capital, technology, environment, and communication. And this initiative serves as a catalyst for a more inclusive global economic framework. Central to Russia's strategy for achieving this resilience and its repositioning in this multipolar world is with BRICS. BRICS was initially formed by Brazil, Russia, India, and China in September 2006, ironically, unofficially in New York City. And they opted up to a full scale diplomatic meeting that was held in Yekaterinburg, Russia, attended by the leaders from all four countries. South Africa joining in 2010 officially coined the term BRICS. And in 2024, we've seen significant expansion to include Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, Indonesia, and the United Arab Emirates. And these are not including the 30 additional nations that have also applied to join, which really underscores BRICS's growing global influence. And the role of BRICS in Russia amongst other countries' economic positioning is a multifaceted one. The first way is using joint development projects. BRICS countries have launched large scale joint projects across various critical sectors like nuclear power, aviation, and artificial intelligence. And they're designed to strengthen the economic ties and foster mutual development that aligns with Russia's focus on innovative industries. And the next way they want to do this is with principles of cooperation. The platform operates on the core principles of consensus, parity, mutual interest, and openness, which Putin stated it will strengthen as more countries join. These principles are foundational for fostering trust and stable cooperation among member states. And considering how the collective trade turnover of BRICS nations has already surpassed $1 trillion right now and continues to grow, really underscores the growing economic clout that BRICS will have and will give it the opportunity to create this alternative framework for trade and development that is outside the traditional Western dominated systems that will in turn enhance the resilience countries will have to illegal unilateral sanctions. And the last way is global problem solving. Putin emphasized that global challenges require a collective response and that, quote, joint actions within an organization such as BRICS and some other formats can ensure the movement of the entire civilization forward. This highlights BRICS as a vital mechanism for achieving broader global economic stability and progress. And by focusing on internal economic diversification into advanced industries, actively fostering partnerships through BRICS and other international platforms based on ideas of shared interests, mutual development, Russia aims to mitigate these economic vulnerabilities and establish a much more robust position within our evolving multipolar global economy. So, is Russia approaching a recession? Possibly. But is it collapsing? No. It's repositioning itself through BRICS, and it may land softer than anyone expects. This is more than economic survival. It's part of the new playbook of economic resiliency and development for our multipolar world. If you found this perspective valuable, be sure to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Share with someone still reading last year's headlines. And thanks again for watching.